I call this meeting of the Iowa State Student Government to order. We will begin with a roll call, starting with Senator Agba, Senator Becker, Senator or Vice Speaker or Acting Speaker Bruick, Present. Senator Burks, Senator Cecil, Senator Dre, Senator Eisma, Senator Engelken, Senator Frencher, Senator Hackbarth, Senator Heidenreich, Senator Holliday, Senator Kamstra, Senator Kohlhaas, Senator Kuehler, Senator Quinn, or Margaret, sorry, Senator Matthews, Senator Mays, Senator Moskar, Senator Momini, Senator Patel, Senator Schnepf, Senator Shivraj, Senator Slater, Senator Tansey, Senator Thornton, Senator Topete, Senator Vo, and Senator Yonting. With that, we do have quorum, and we'll now move into a Pledge of Allegiance led by Acting Speaker Bruick.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, seeing as we have no program tonight, we'll move into open forum. Open forum is time for any student and any member of the student body to come bring their concerns to us. If there's any members of the student body here to bring concerns to us, please approach the podium now, say your name and major. Doesn't look like anyone's here for open forum tonight. We'll now move into adopting the agenda for tonight.
Mr. President, I move to strike 2022-2-022F, funding ISU Golf Club, and move to add 2022-2-031SG, confirming the nomination of an at-large Public Relations Committee to the agenda.
All right, there has been a motion to strike one bill and add another. And it has been seconded. Is there any objection to amending the agenda as so? All right, seeing none, it shall be amended. Is there any motions to adopt tonight's agenda? It's been moved and seconded to adopt tonight's agenda. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, it shall be adopted. We'll now move into the approval of last week's minutes. It's been moved and seconded to approve last week's minutes. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, the last week's minutes shall be approved.
Mr. President, I move to add Senator Agba to the roll.
Is there any objection to adding Senator Agba to the roll? Seeing none, they shall be added. All right, now we will move into committee reports, starting with rules with Acting Speaker Bruick.
Hey y'all, didn't super expect to be doing the Rules Committee update right now, but here we are. So Rules saw two bills on Sunday. First bill, it was the OOPS bill, and the committee sent that favorably UC. It looks all good to everyone there. I wrote it, so of course I think that, but the committee thought that as well. All on board with it. It's a pretty simple change. And then we also saw the Senate Discipline Reform Act, also one of my bills, and that was sent favorably. Was that UC? Or that was sent favorably unanimously, and with quite a bit of amendments. So do look those over. There were a lot of amendments, and they were all very good and very substantive, and I'm very glad they were made. Have you sent these around, or do you want to just do it now? So this has been a bill that's spent a lot of time in Rules Committee before we even actually wrote it. It's been discussed a lot. And so in the process of doing that, I did create a couple of like flowchart things for how the new process for fees and is supposed to work. Can we just run through it all? This is basically, it's obviously a bylaw bill. There might be hard to follow. So this is an outline that kind of says what's supposed to happen. So the way it basically works is that feasance occurs. A feasance is a violation of Senate rule like usually a senator's duty, not coming to office hours, not coming to a Senate meeting, what have you. That occurs, the speaker designates someone to investigate why that occurred and whether it was a serious issue. They report to Rules. The Rules Committee hears that, and they decide to either dismiss all charges, brush it off, tell the Senate that the violation of law was minor, try and censure the individual, which is basically an official condemnation. It doesn't actually have an effect, but it is an official, you broke our rules, that was bad of you, or they recommend the removal. After that, a disciplinary hearing is held with the investigator and the accused party before Rules. They present their case, and then Rules can either move forward with censure or removal or end the case there. If Rules votes to move it forward, it goes to a Senate hearing. For the Senate hearing, the hearing goes on the agenda. It's going to be the first thing that's heard before any other bill. It's divided into a 45-minute hearing, just like any other bill. 10 minutes goes to the Rules investigator to make the case for why removal or censure should happen. 15 minutes goes to the accused to defend themselves. 5 minutes goes to the Rules investigator to rebut. And then 15 minutes of discussion amongst the General Senate is allowed for. After that, once that argument discussion is closed, both parties will have one more 5-minute period each to make their final cases, and then the vote is held on whether to remove or censure the individual. So that's basically what this bill is doing. There's more details and rules within the document itself, but this is a general overview for those of you who haven't seen as big and complicated of a bylaw bill as this. So that's what Rules has been working on. That's what we come up with, and I hope to see a lot of discussion when we get to that bill. And I think that's all I have for the Rules Committee update. Oh, we saw 2 Senate confirmation senators who were nominated for different constituency councils. We're seeing one of them tonight. We'll see one of them next week. They were both St. UC. They both are qualified, and we all thought they were good. So thumbs up there. And that's all I have for the Rules update.
All right. Is there any questions for members of Rules or Acting Speaker Bruick? All right. Seeing none, we will move into Finance with Finance Director Claiborne.
Hello, everybody. So this week's Claiborne Cash Cow is out. As you can see, Student Legal Services was sent favorably with a few amendments. They wanted to have 2 line items, but in the meeting I didn't have the correct amounts, so we just split it in half, but then on the floor we will change it to what they need to be. Then Funding Winterfest was sent favorably. We also approved 2 line items, transfers, Winterfest, and Golf Club. Winterfest, just obviously line item transfers again, no increase in funds. They just wanted to move some around some stuff because they couldn't get a carriage, and then their speaker was kind of more expensive. And then Golf Club, we approved a line item transfer for them. That is why we postponed the bill, because their line item transfer was kind of increasing and replacing that $132.22 that was on that bill from funds that they already had that they didn't use. So obviously we just struck the bill because they didn't need to do that. And then we started doing PNC, kind of went into depth a little more than we did last time, make sure we had everything that we wanted, answered questions that senators had. And then next week we are going to finish that as we introduce the whole bill next week for first read and then second read after Thanksgiving break. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to send that to Senate. But again, if you have any questions on PNC, please ask. It is a large amount of information that some people don't know. So again, also if you want to come to the meeting, you can. We meet at 5:30 in room 3512 of the MU. We had 2 senators who aren't in Finance Committee last meeting there, and it was kind of just nice to have people who are on Senate who aren't in Finance kind of get a feel of how we work, and also if Finance has questions, they can go to them immediately, or they also just, during discussion, non-Finance Committee senators can kind of speak on our behalf just in case they need to. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, please ask.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions for Finance? Seeing none, excuse my tardy, everyone. I was at a poster session for my 8-week internship in France, so if any of you are interested, let me know. We'll move on to updates with PR Committee with Director Grensteiner.
Hello, everyone. I hope you have all enjoyed one of the last few days of weather this year. It's going to be really cold on Friday. So a few things from PR Committee. Director of Outreach Haas is reaching out to the judicial branch regarding including them in student government's outreach efforts. Another episode of the Student Government Podcast was recorded last week. You can expect editing to be finished by Monday and a release of the episode by Thursday. Podcast analytics will be presented at the last PR meeting of the semester, which is November 29th. All are welcome to attend to review data analytics. If they are ever interested, just let me know. After Dark is this Friday, November 11th. It looks like we have about 4-ish people signed up when I checked last night. Please spread the word or volunteer so that we can be more equipped with karaoke, as it's a very popular section of After Dark. We need about 6 to 7 people in the room at all times, and I'm not going to have all 4 people there the whole time. So it'll be a great time. You get to MC maybe, or just do some more fun things and spread the good word of StuGov. The PR Committee voted unanimously in favor of spending $130 for Finals Week goodie bags. Hashtag SciThanks is a social media campaign put on by CELT in partnership with student government and other organizations and departments across campus. Hashtag SciThanks will run through the month of November with the goal of having students and staff give thanks to their peers or mentors via this platform. I'm going to send a link in the team, so if you would like to give thanks to one of your mentors or peers or friends, this is just a great way to do it. Later in the agenda today, we will be having an at-large just be introduced. So please ask her some good questions. And I have about 4 more at-large interviews this week and next week for the PR Committee. But that's about it. Did anyone have any questions?
Questions for PR? Seeing none, we'll move on to Diversity Committee with Co-Chair Vi.
I guess we have 2 updates for this week. One is the committee aligned. So we've been working with Dr. Peggy Fantini to centralize DEI on campus. We just met with her today, and this project is towards the end, towards the launching phase. So she will be meeting with President Wendy next week. So that's an update. And the second update's the town hall next week. It's on the 15th, the Tuesday, the multicultural town hall in the Memorial Union. So please stop by if you guys are interested. And this meeting, we had 2 senators join us for the meeting. Those are the only updates. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Are there any questions for Diversity Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to student initiatives with Senator Mays.
Hello. So probably the biggest update I have for you guys is we had the event authorization meeting for pumpkin smashing, and I think it went pretty well. We have a few things that we have to do after it, obviously, but overall it seems like pumpkin smashing is going to go pretty smooth this year, and we're following a lot of different precautions. We also did a safety walk this Monday, and we got a lot of points on the map. And there's going to be talks about potentially doing it next semester or doing something like an off-campus walk. So if any of the UROC senators were interested in talking to me about that, I'm probably going to talk with Chris Strawhacker about that soon. But overall, we still have open at-large seats and senator seats if you're interested in joining. We have a lot going on next semester too. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Any questions for student initiatives? Vice Speaker Brewick. Is there any objection to doing so? Speaker Mahoney shall be added to the roll. We'll move on to Local Affairs Committee with ex officio Garmin.
Evening, everyone. Happy day after election. Just wanted to share with you a little bit of election stats. So over 37,000 people in Story County voted. Yesterday, we have a total of 70,000 registered voters, so that really isn't amazing. But as far as Iowa goes, we reached the second highest turnout for a midterm election in state history. So I think that's pretty good. And then as far as council, last night they approved to rename the Ames Airport, the James H. Manning Airport, and then also the new plaza that's going across the street from City Hall after the city manager, Steve Shanker. And then they also revoked the liquor license from a popular place in Ames. Not now, the name's escaping me, but yeah, so it was a rather eventful meeting, but thanks.
Are there any questions for Director Garman? Seeing none, we'll move on to Sustainability Committee with Director Vanderkamp with Vice Chair Engelken.
Hey, so Blake isn't feeling well, so I'll be giving the update. So Walk, Bike, Roll Ames is a project to develop a comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian plan for Ames, and this plan will help the community become a place where walking, biking, and rolling is safer, more comfortable, and easier for everyone in Ames, regardless of their age or ability. So I was given a little survey link that I will put in the team's chat after this meeting. So it'd be great if you guys could fill that out to figure out the plan that's best for everyone. Also, America Recycles Day is November 15th. So coming up, I believe there's going to be a fun little thing going on Central Campus with the Department of Recycling. So I'm very excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Sustainability Committee isn't tabling, but still show up, still have fun. Woo, let's celebrate recycling. And also, another thing is to get into the know of Ames Climate Action Plan. On November 15th in City Hall Council Chambers at 6 p.m., there is going to be a little update about it, and it is viewable on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and streaming from cityofames.org. So you don't have to be there in person. You can see it online. So yeah, we're also going to see a bill to seat an at-large. So look out for that. Yeah.
Are there any questions for Sustainability Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to Health and Wellness with Director Everest.
Hi everyone. I have significantly less this week than I did last week. The biggest update that I have is President Ludwig and I attended the community conversation on mental health on Monday. The city of Ames has a ton of really awesome resources, and the university does as well. So we're going to work on kind of merging those, hopefully to get one universal resource for students and the community as well. And as always, please take care of yourselves as the weather changes, as we kind of get into that busy time with projects and finals coming up. Reach out if you need support. I'm here for all of you.
Are there any questions for Health and Wellness? Seeing none, we will move on to comments from the judicial branch.
Good evening, Can you guys hear me? Okay. Good evening, everybody. So this week, the court is doing kind of our final discussion and review on the ethics of voting, judiciary members voting in committees, because we've recently been trying to extend our experience and reach into other parts of student government to become more active and helpful members of student government. So we should come to a vote on that tonight. We'll also be talking tonight about possibly sending out a survey just in the teams to kind of get your guys' opinions, because it is important to us as well that you see our actions as not reducing the integrity of the court. So more likely than not, in the future, you may receive a survey, and we'd love for you to fill that out. Other than that, that is kind of our big ticket item for this week. And I don't think that I have anything else.
The election commission collaboration continues. We're still looking into how we can do more to just help promote our whole election process come the spring. However, that's kind of on a little bit of a slight hold, just as there's planning, talking, but not really a whole lot of action to take in that direction at this time. Thank you.
Are there any questions for our judicial branch? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from our advisors.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to say thank you to those who were able to make it to the working meeting today. We greatly appreciate it. We're really trying to figure out ways that we are able to best support all of you in your understanding with the organization. Beyond that, I also totally forgot what week it is, so that trend lasted a long time, but it's gone now. But we do, it's 13? Oh, it's 12. Well, happy 12th week. Speaking of that, we only have 2 meetings left. So we have next week and then November 30th, and then we are officially done for the semester. So it's a good time to start thinking about what you would like to accomplish next spring. Remember, we have a little bit of January, February, and March, and then the term is over. So if you want to chat about anything, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you all with your projects and things. And then also, as Christian said earlier, or Senior Director Grensteiner said earlier, definitely take a look at the Thanks and fill one out if you would like. So have a good meeting.
Are there any questions for our advisor? Seeing none, we will now have comments from the executive branch.
Evening, everyone. Just a couple quick updates this week. Last Friday, I had the Athletic Director Advisory Board meeting. So we met with Director Pollard, talked about Sci-Town, the history of the athletic student fee, and then also about the student section location. Basically, a review of what's happened with that this year. He collected some feedback from members of the board about how students were feeling about it. At the end of the discussion, I'd say it seems pretty likely that the current section is probably going to be the section going forward. So for a number of reasons, a lot of them related to the same reasons that they moved it in the first place. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Other than that, attended to the commemoration ceremony for Jack Trice last Friday. Kicked off the 100 years of celebration. Dedicated Jack Trice Way next to Jack Trice Stadium. Dedicated the statue and had a really good ceremony with members of Jack Trice's family there. And there's a lot of really good stuff coming down the pipeline to continue celebrating Jack Trice's life and memory. A lot of good stuff in homecoming last week. I know that a lot of people in here were engaged with that, but I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who painted Victory Lane. We did place 3rd out of all the organizations, so a little shout out to everyone who worked on that. Director Everest already mentioned the community conversation on mental health. I thought that was a really beneficial event, and I really encourage you all to attend some of these future meetings. The next one will be towards the end of January. They specifically chose that time so that students would be back in Ames and so we could attend these community conversations. There are a lot of resources out there beyond what's just on campus, and so that's one of the reasons that Director Everest and I want to work on simplifying some of the access to those resources, because I think it's really important for students to be aware of all the different options that are available to them. But the big thing this week is the Board of Regents meeting. We met on Monday with the student leaders from the other 2 Regent universities to talk about what we want to talk about on Thursday with the board. The theme of this meeting is basically campus safety. The board will be receiving its annual report on Clery Act. It's basically just the number of reports that have been happening at the 3 institutions over the last year. And so they wanted to hear from us about campus safety, and so we'll be talking about campus lighting, police, and all that. So looking forward to that conversation on tomorrow. We will be leaving from Ames promptly at 5 in the morning. So, questions?
Are there any questions for our executive branch? Seeing none, we will jump into the content of the evening, starting in External Matters 2022-2-020F, Funding Student Legal Services with Senator Patel.
All right. Sorry.
All right, everyone. So the university has increased their base salary, and student government fully funds student legal services. So we are planning on increasing the pay of 2 positions by January 1st of next year. Also, Kit knows a lot about this as well. So.
Do you want me to speak? Or
That's up to Senator Patel. It's still her speaking privilege.
Yes.
yeah, so like Senator Patel said, so we fully fund student legal services. If you didn't know, we fund 3 positions: the 2 lawyers and their secretary. Within the university, there was some increase, not just for student legal services, but for different positions all around the university. And with their increase, we pay the minimum amount, so they are increasing salary around $16,000, and we have to do this by January 1. And then next semester, we will see a new contract to increase their salary and wages for FY24, 5, and 6. So again, we have to pay them what they want, what they need, but these are just kind of obviously just to show. And then amendments that are being added are, again, as I said, I didn't have the exact amounts during the meeting, which again is my fault, but they wanted to do different line items. So we have a salary increase, which is their base salary, and then we also have an increase in benefits. So just kind of splitting the line items so COA knows and also we know, but again, it's the same amount through and through for total.
All right, and with that, the floor is open for any discussion or debate. We'll start with Senator Thornton.
No, sorry. I am going to wait for my comments until it looks like Speaker Mahoney is editing. So I think I'll just double check. You said the total is still going to be the 16,000
Yeah,
change?
the total is not changing. So
Okay.
the original salary increase line item was including salary and benefits, but Speaker Mahoney has the paper of the salary and benefits. So we just did 4 line items.
Got it.
And also, this is just a recommendation. Can you put salary increase 1 and then benefits 1 so we know it's the same person? But again, no change in the total amount, just kind of increasing number of line items so we can kind of see what it is.
Okay, so I will move to. Is this all going to be the Finance Committee amendments, or do I need to?
No.
Okay, so I'll need to move to adopt the Finance Committee amendments and the floor amendments.
Well, what you can do is you don't have to approve the Finance Committee amendments, but then you can approve his. Just whatever you want. That's just a friendly suggestion.
Alrighty, I'll move to adopt Speaker Mahoney's amendments.
All right, is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to amend the bill as reflected on the screen with the salary increase 2, benefits 1, and benefits 2 line items. Is there any discussion on the amendments? Senator Thornton?
No.
No. Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection by passing these amendments by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendment shall be passed. We're back on the bill as a whole.
I think I yield. Yeah, I'm done.
Senator Becker.
Just to confirm, by benefits, we mean like health and dental and not like legal bonus, that kind of thing, right? It's like.
That's just what we, so yes.
Yes.
I don't know the exact benefits, but just who else we pay fully is saying yes for benefits.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But this is what the university gave us. So, yes.
Is there any objection to removing Senator Hackbarth from the roll? Seeing none, she shall be removed. Is there any further debate or questions about the bill as a whole? Question has been called for and second. Is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none, Senator Patel, any closing comments? All right. Seeing no closing comments, we will go into a roll call vote, being a finance bill. When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain, starting with Agba. Becker. Bruick. Burks. Cecil. Dre. Eisma. Engelken. Frencher. Heidenreich. Holiday. Colehouse. Kuehler. Mahoney. Margaret. Mays. Moskar. Patel. Schnepp. Shivraj. Slater. Thornton. Topete. Vo. And Yonting. With a vote of 25 to 0, the motion passes. We will now move on to 2022-2-021F, funding Winterfest with Senator Tansey is not present. Is there a co-sponsor? Senator Patel.
If I could get everyone from Winterfest to come up to the podium, that'd be amazing. But Winterfest is requesting $5,400 for Winterfest, as they host it every year. And if you guys want to talk more about it, that'd be amazing.
Okay, so Winterfest happens once a year. This year it's on December 2nd. It's very similar to what After Dark is, but it's only one event, so we have a lot more activities. We always have food. We're bringing in a big entertainer this year, carriage rides on campus, a lot of novelty items. And yeah, we're asking for funding for we have funding from the Ames Convention and Visitors Bureau for some food that we can use, but from what we found last year, that funding they gave us last year only made it through 30 minutes of the event. So it's a 4,000 to 6,000 person event because we do open it to the Ames community. So extra funding for food would be greatly appreciated. And then also some funding for decorations so we can deck out the Memorial Union in winter themed.
Senator Patel, do you yield?
I have no comments.
All right, we will go to Senator Kuehler. All right, Senator Thornton.
Senator Patel, for the good of the body, is Winterfest a partnered or sponsored organization?
I believe it is sponsored.
Okay. So are we able to fund non-multicultural food or decorations without worry of violating our PNC?
So in PNC funding, eligible or sponsored organizations cannot get food or decorations, but since this is one event, we can go through events account to give them this money, which I'm fine with that too. So either we change this to events and we can pass it, or if we go through to Senate discretionary, we cannot.
Okay, so the best course of action to be able to have like a successful Winterfest would be to amend it on the floor right now for the events fund. Can we do that?
Yeah, and then if the representatives from Winterfest want to explain, because I know this is a very expensive event. Obviously, it is a really big event. So if you kind of just want to talk about how this $5,400 would greatly benefit with food and decoration.
Yeah. So like I said, it's open to the Ames community where we get 4,000 to 6,000 people. Right now for funding for food, how much?
We have 4,700 currently for food, so this would essentially double the amount of food that we would be able to provide for the event.
Yes, and we do expect a lot more people to come than last year, just because last year we were ramping back up, and this year it's like we're doing a lot more, have more time. So yeah.
And we're also cross-promoting with the City of Ames and the Discover Ames specifically, because they have a bunch of city-based events that entire weekend as well. So we'll be advertised a bunch of places across the community as well. So we anticipate that the turnout is gonna be probably much higher than it was last year.
Yes, so to answer your question, the extra funding for food would help people like be able to eat here and then also stay longer and enjoy the events longer, and then our turnout would be a lot better overall.
For you, would it be possible to have some sort of like signage or an announcement that student government helped fund the event?
Yes, it's on our posters already that student government helps fund.
Great. So then I would move to amend that the fund is then transferred from the events. I don't have editing power, but thank you, Speaker Mahoney.
All right, is there a second to amend the bill striking Senate discretionary and replacing it with events? Is there a second? All right, is there any discussion on the amendment on the bill?
I think the point was already made that we cannot fund it from Senate discretionary because it would go against PNC. We already didn't fund SCUBA because we felt violating PNC was not great for our organization. So changing it to events lets us fund Winterfest. That's it. That's my point.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Oh, Senator, Vice Speaker Bruick.
Just out of curiosity, Finance Director Claiborne, do you know how much we have in our events account right now? I think we've made a couple expenditures on it
I
already.
do not. I have not updated it since BSA, but we have had at least 2 bills come through events, probably totaling around, at highest 10,000, so around 40,000, ballpark, give or take a few thousand. So we have plenty of funds.
Awesome, that's all I wanted to know. I yield and call the question on the amendments.
Is there any question has been called for and seconded? Is there any objection to ending debate? Seeing none, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing these amendments by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendments shall be approved. We're back on the bill as a whole. I had Speaker Mahoney next.
So I just wanted to ask, do you guys know roughly how many students attend?
It's majority students, honestly. So I think last year we estimated that it was about, we had about 4,000 that came through the event last year. And I would say a rough estimate of 65 to 75% of those participants were Iowa State students.
Perfect. And then the other thing I just was curious about, what kind of food are we talking about? Or is
We do chili and cornbread through catering.
Perfect.
Here on campus.
Perfect, I yield.
Senator Becker.
Yeah, so I just had one question. You're partnering kind of with the city, is that correct? Have you thought about trying to partner with Cornbread and see if they would do some kind of donation of or discounted price or something like that?
So, like the Memorial Union, it's very strict on what kind of foods you can bring in. We can't bring outside food in. That's why we're going through ISU catering, so that way that food can be served.
Okay, perfect. Great. Makes sense.
Senator Agba.
Regarding the types of food, do you have any plans for students with dietary restrictions or allergies?
Yes.
We have vegetarian options for the chili, and then beyond that, there's not much else. Panda Express will be open at that time as well, so there will be an additional food source option that we won't be funding, but unfortunately that was what our budget could afford at the time. So we could work with catering if we were to receive this funding to see if there was anything else we could do for additional dietary restrictions.
Okay, I yield.
Senator Thornton.
Yeah, thank you, Senator Agba, for bringing that up. Piggybacking off of that, dining is fairly familiar with halal options. So with this funding, I would hope that you could partner with them to offer that, especially as we near the winter holidays.
Are there any further questions or debate for the bill as a whole? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none, Senator Patel, any closing comments? All right, and with that, we will move into a vote. We will have to do another roll call vote being a finance bill. When I call your name, yes, no, or abstain. Senator Ogba. Becker. Berwick. Burks. Cecil. Dre. Eisma. Engelken. Frencher. Heidenreich. Holiday. Colehouse. Kuehler. Mahoney. Margaret. Mays. Moskar. Patel. Schnepp. Shivraj. Slater. Thornton. Topete. Vo. And Yontang. With a vote of 25 to 0, the motion passes. We will, yes. We will now move into internal matters, general orders. I'm all turned around here. Starting with 2022-2-0223Y, obviating ontological pretensions in Senate Oops Act with Vice Speaker Berwick.
Hey everyone, so I've talked about it in the last meeting. The OOPS Act is just a very small fix to a couple of parts of our bylaws, some voting thresholds that are weird. The annual allocations bill says in the Senate rules that you have to pass it by a 2/3 vote of seated senators, where the bylaws currently say it's 2/3 of voting senators, and that's a pretty big discrepancy, so this changes it to be seated like the operating rules, and it changes bylaw 10.3.2 about the vice commissioner's confirmation to set it to 2/3 of seated senators needed to vote in favor of confirming the vice commissioner, just like the election commissioner. The election commissioner needs that same voting threshold, so we just set them equal, given that they're both pretty equally important in the election commission's processes. So that's really all this bill does, and I yield.
With that, the OOPS Act is open for debate. Is there any objection from removing Senator Yontang from the roll? Seeing none, he shall be removed. Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objections to ending debate now? Seeing none, Vice Speaker Berwick. Seeing no closing comments, we will go into a vote. All those in favor, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objections by passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. We'll now move into 2022-2-024 Senate Discipline Reform Act with Vice Speaker Berwick.
Hey, also, this is our first, I think, really big bylaw bill of the session. This has been the product of several weeks of discussions and then more time of bill writing and amending by the Rules Committee. It's been quite a bit of a process. It's probably the first part of our bylaw rewrite that Speaker Mahoney has been spearheading. And basically what it does is it overhauls the feasance system, the disciplinary system, that the process that goes into place once senators and at-larges have either failed to do their duties as laid out in the governing documents, or if they've somehow misused their power in some way and earned some sort of mis or malfeasance. It's a very complicated bill. I talked about it like I said, in the rules update there. It does a lot of different things. There's been a lot of amendments to it, and I think it's a really good bill, but it's confusing and complicated, and I'm sure I messed something up while writing it, and it's possible that the Rules Committee may have missed something in our meeting on Sunday, so please ask questions, please say whatever you want about it, and I look forward to the debate, and I yield.
Debate is now open on the floor. We'll start with Senator Ogba.
Will these changes be made retroactively? So senators who may have violated.
So there are no senators at the moment that have enough non-feasances or any mail or misfeasances to actually be affected by this. But if this were to be passed tonight, if there were somebody that reached 2 non-feasances or got a mis or malfeasance, they would go through this new process because this do take effect immediately. But basically, they don't affect anything that we currently have with anybody at the moment.
Right. I yield. Mr. President, I move the Rules Committee amendments.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the Rules Committee amendments. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be approved. Senator Becker.
I'm just curious, how frequently do we feel like people actually get malfeasance? And would this kind of bog down Rules Committee, or would it be fine? Please.
Well, since it happened last year, are you familiar with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so since it happened last year, just for the good of the body, it has at least happened once in the 2 years now that or the year and a half that I've served. And we just felt that due to that, we could have improved it. We as Rules Committee do not feel like it will bog us down because it is so infrequent. But we worry that because of the process that happened last year, that this is a much more improved process, a much more fair for both parties involved, both the investigatee that is being accused, I guess, and the investigator. And so if you read through this, you can form your opinion on how fair you believe it to be. But we as a committee believe that it is as fair as possible. Both the investigator and the investigatee get a speaking privilege at the beginning, like Vice Speaker Bruick said at the opening remarks today, and no speaking privileges during the debate period where all senators present can discuss and debate what they believe or their opinions of the matter. And then at the end of the debate period, the investigator and the investigatee can also have another speaking privilege. But that way, there is less back and forth than previously has happened. But yeah, to answer again, I don't think that rules will get bogged down because it's so infrequent that somebody gets 3 malfeasances.
Mm-hmm. But important to have when they do.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Is there any further discussion? Question has been called for. And second, is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none, Vice Speaker Bruick, closing comments. Seeing none, we will go into a vote. All those in unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection by passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. We'll now move into Special Orders 2022-2-028SD, confirming the nomination of a Human Sciences Center with Speaker Mahoney.
So Tabitha, if you want to go up to the podium. This is a senator it's been a process. We got there. So I believe Chief of Staff Roberts referred her to me. I referred her to Human Sciences Council. They nominated her. She went through rules, got passed favorably, so I will let her speak on herself.
Hi, my name is Tabby Eaton, and I'm hoping to serve as the next senator for the College of Human Sciences. I'm currently a sophomore studying physical education. As a senator, I'm hoping to serve a more active role as a student in the college community. I'm currently an active member of Kappa Alpha Theta, and last year was Large Hall Chancellor and the treasurer for the Hockey Cheerleading Club. Being a part of these organizations has showed me what it means to be a leader. I've learned how to problem solve, communicate with others, and admit when I've made mistakes. The most important skill I'm still learning is how to have a growth mindset. As a forever learner and future educator, I know that I will never stop learning and growing, and that having a growth mindset is the first step to becoming a better person. In this role, I'm hoping to bring a different perspective to the college community. Being a member of Greek Life allows me to share the experiences and needs of a different audience for student government to reach. In high school, I served in several leadership roles, including my class vice president and the captain of my dance team. The role of vice president taught me what it means to be an unbiased voice for a large group of people, and it showed me the hardships of leading for more than just myself. As a senator for the College of Human Sciences, I hope to be an unbiased voice for the college and advocate for its needs and betterment. I'm also hoping to be another voice for the health and wellness at Iowa State. I am somebody who is passionate about the well-being of students. As a first-generation college student myself, I had to focus on physical and mental well-being more than others. And I want my role as a senator to bring more resources for those who need it, especially for those who don't know where to start. I felt that something was missing from my college experience, and I believe representing the College of Human Sciences would fulfill that missing piece.
All right. Speaker Mahoney, do you All right, the floor is open for any debate. We'll start with Senator Gueller.
Hi, and it's not working. Hi, and excited to have you here. I guess my question is, so one of the requirements is that senators join at least one committee. Have you had a chance to look at any of the committees we have, and have you thought about which ones you would potentially like to be a part of?
Yes, I was able to look at a few of them, and the one I'm personally most interested in is health and wellness, because my major does deal with kinesiology and education. Something I am very passionate about is providing more resources in terms of health and wellness for Iowa State.
Very good. I yield.
Senator Gepete.
Sorry, I barely have a voice, but I'm glad that you brought up that, like, something that you want to work on. Can you elaborate on, like, what you're doing to, like, help your growth mindset? Like, what activities, books, or whatever you're going about that for?
For me personally, I do, in the summer, I work as a summer camp counselor. And working in a different environment, like in the wilderness, is very difficult. And it was a job that I went into completely blind. And it's something that it forced me to be a leader. I had to take care of kids. I had to work in the woods. And it's something that showed me that I need to be a good person for these students, and I was a role model for them as well. And so when I made a mistake, it was important for me to acknowledge that, to not only teach them that it's okay to make mistakes, but that it's okay to learn and grow from those mistakes as well.
Perfect. Thank you. I yield.
Vice Speaker Bruick.
Hi. So I just had a question about like your time commitments and whatnot. Obviously, Senate's a bit of a time commitment. You have Senate meetings on Wednesdays, committee meeting, at least one committee meeting you have to be a part of, and at least spending at least 1 hour a week in the Senate office. So I was just wondering what your time commitments look like, and whether you felt you're able to undertake all the time commitments that Senate entails.
Right. For me, all of my classes are in the morning, and with being a member of my sorority, our sorority is very pro joining new things and learning new experiences and being a part of more things than just this Greek community. And they are very positive about me reaching out to those experiences. And as well as with my job in the summer, it is only a summer job, so therefore I do have a lot more time during the school year to commit to this.
Senator Agba.
I believe you touched on it a bit. What do you plan to do in your committees, such as health and wellness? What do you wish to have accomplished?
For me, I am very passionate about the topic of sexual health. Something I would say in the Greek community as well is really promoting sexual assault prevention. But with that, there should be more education with sexual health and how it affects your emotional and physical well-being, and that's something that I'm very passionate about bringing for Iowa State.
Great. I yield.
Are there any further questions for our candidate or debate for the floor? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none. Speaker Mahoney, any closing comments? Seeing none, we will go into a vote. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Congratulations, this motion carries. If you want to stay up there, we will have a justice swear you in, and then after that, feel free to find a seat.
I solemnly swear and affirm to execute the duties of my position as prescribed in the Constitution and the laws of the government for the benefit of all students. Thank you.
Is there any objection to adding Senator Etten to the roll? Seeing none, she shall be sat. All right, we will move on to 2022-2-029 seating an at-large to Sustainability Committee with Senator Engelken.
Hi, so may you go up to the podium? So we're going to have a seating and at-large bill, and once the Once the nominee goes up to the podium, I'll have them explain a bit about themselves and why they want to be a part of this committee.
All right, hello, my name is Nash Masinde, and I hope to be an at-large on the Sustainability Committee. I'm currently a senior in Global Resource Systems and Environmental Science, and also minoring in Sustainability and Global Health. And I'm very passionate about sustainability, obviously, as it's my minor. I'm especially passionate about food waste, and the food waste subcommittee was actually one of the reasons why I chose to apply for this position. I worked at ICU Dining for a semester, and while I was there, I saw like a insane amount of food waste, and I also work at Walgreens, so I get to do little outdates where I throw out a really huge amount of food, which is very annoying to me. So I would like to play a role in reducing that in some way. And I also would like to make some sort of impact on campus in my last 1.5 semesters here. And yeah, just, being around campus, I get to see a lot of the stuff that the Sustainability Committee has done, and it's really impressive. And the recycling trash cans are cool. And I'm currently the president of Oxfam America Club, and I also have served as a peer mentor and a teaching assistant on campus. So I believe those positions have prepared me to take on this responsibility. Yes.
The floor is now open for any discussion or questions for our candidate.
Second.
Question has been called for in seconds. Is there any objection to closing debate now? Seeing none, Senator Engelken, any closing comments? All right, seeing none, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations, Nash. This bill is passed. All right, we will now move on to 2022-2-030SG, seating senators to Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee with Senator Ogba.
Yeah, I have worked with these senators in the past about, I think a year now and yeah, they've been really great in getting a diversity-oriented activities set up, such as working with our clubs and student body organizations, and I think they would be a great addition to the committee. Yeah, you can go up.
Senator Ogba, do you yield, or did you want to yield your time to them?
I yield my time.
Hi, everyone. So hearing and seeing what DEI committee has already done made me want to join the DEI committee. I participate in many clubs that support people of color, so I feel like I can advocate better with being in the DEI committee, and especially I like being a PWI. The DEI committee is important to me and special because it allows students like me to give a voice to students of color that don't necessarily have the courage to speak up and join it. So I can also advocate, and that was my initial reason for wanting to join student council or student government in the first place. So that is why.
Okay, hi, my name's Lena. I'm a UROC senator, and I'm also currently in the SI committee, also with Ari. It's been great. So as I've been able to ease into student government more, I realized it was a good time for me to also join another committee and something else that I'm very passionate about, which is the DEI committee. The sole reason I joined was for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and being able to be a representative and an advocate for those in marginalized communities. I'm a facilitator in Color of Love along with Ari and Obi, I've been working with student-led initiatives regarding to other multicultural organizations, and I'm also a member of VSA, which is the Vietnamese Student Association. And yeah, one of my goals, I guess, for DEI, or a goal for myself really, is to make DEI something that's sort of like effortless. So like the way to describe that is like we have to put in a lot of effort all the time in order to be represented, and I'm hoping it's becomes something that's not just a priority for other people in marginalized communities, but everyone in the room, and something that is like a daily practice and that you would think about every single day in order to improve the way things work at a predominantly white institution. So yeah, and I'd also like to focus on the freshman class because we've talked about before about the low retention rate. I think addressing diversity, equity, inclusion as soon as an individual is able to step into Iowa State really does help their sense of belonging on campus. I know freshman year is one of the toughest years for students of color and others, so being able to address that early on is really important. So I would just really like to work more within DEI.
And with that, we will open the floor to any questions or debate. We'll start with Senator Kuehler.
Yeah, so I guess my question is for you, Senator Vo. I really like your initiative of kind of making DE&I effortless. So I guess I'm just wondering if you have any specific, or I guess you have any ideas about how to go about doing that.
What I think about the most when it comes to that is how, you know, white-centered spaces. There's a 24-hour clock for like students that are white. In order to be represented. So like they don't have to go out their way after school to join a club that has people that represents them. They don't have to go out their way to be like, oh, I have to join this club because in order to join this club, I'll finally see people that look like me. I'm hoping it's not really possible to like increase diversity all over campus, but being able to educate the community and having like more workshops and such where we can increase the knowledge and the awareness of diversity, equity, inclusion, not just for like racial identities, but those in the LGBTQ plus community and those with disabilities or disorders and such. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. And then Senator Burks, would you be able to, if you have any, do you have any specific initiatives or ideas you want to bring to DE&I committee?
I kind of just would like to work on events like what they had, the Black Homecoming event, just to support all groups, kind of have that for like Latinx, LGBTQ, just like more communities. So it's more comfortable like being here and like, especially like what Lena said for the freshman class, like if you're coming here from like out of state or you're not from Iowa at all and you're not used to this, it can be like very scary, like easing into it. And like you do have to like join clubs, but sometimes it's not like advocated as much, so it's like harder. So if you're able to like do something with like a big organization like student government, that will like allow like other students to be like, oh, like there is something that I can do to be like involved, or like I'm not the only one here, I'm not alone. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys both. I yield.
Question has been called for in second. Is there any objection to ending debate now? Seeing none, we will go on to closing comments. Senator Agba?
I have nothing.
All right, we will open it up for a vote. Is there any unanimous consent has been called for? Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. We will now move on to 2022-2-031SG, confirming the nomination of an at-large to Public Relations Committee with Senator Becker.
I yield my time to Director Grindsteiner, please.
If you want to go ahead and make your way to the podium. Yeah, go ahead to the podium.
So I have a current at-large applicant wanting to be seated. I interviewed her. She did a great job. She has a lot of great ideas, very passionate about public relations. She already sat on one of our meetings, and she has some good input on some future projects that we have. So I would like to extend time to her.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. And I'm Shamita Mataparthi, and I'm an international freshman from India. And I'm currently a pre-business major, and I'm planning to major in management information systems. I'm even considering a minor in HR or business and technology consulting, but I haven't really decided on that. And I first heard about the student government through an email that was sent out. And when I was going through the committees, I knew when I came across PR that that was the one I wanted to apply to. Because even during my final year of high school, I've done a lot of internships related to HR and marketing, because I've always been very much interested in that. So when I applied to the PR, I was really glad to know after the interview that I was selected. And yes, when I attended the meeting yesterday, it was really nice. I thought I might feel a little out of place, but yes, it was very comfortable and I really enjoyed it. And yes, I'm really looking forward to being a member.
All right, and with that, we will open the floor for any debate, starting with Senator Kuehler. Senator Becker. Senator Kuehler.
Thank you for coming out tonight. I know Director Grunsteiner said that you have a lot of interesting ideas and insights, so I guess I'm just wondering if you, what ideas and project initiatives you might have for your PR committee.
Yes, I was initially considering one of them, where it's like a lot of people want a double major most of the times, but they just don't know which one to choose, one that goes well with their major and their interests. So I was thinking that each college could bring together like 2 or 3 famous majors of their thing, like the ones that people mostly opt for, and invite seniors or like graduates who can speak about that major, and we could interact with them a little and then find out if you're really interested and if it's a really good fit for us. And I think that way there are a lot of more people who might choose it as a major or a minor. So yes.
Thank you for that. I yield.
Are there any further questions or debate on the bill as a whole? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending discussion? Seeing none, Senator Becker, closing comments? No closing comments. We will go into a vote. All those in favor, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. The motion carries. Moving on to our final bill of the evening in new business 2022-2-025Y, maximizing uniformed government scheduling with Senator Becker.
Yes, so this was proposed kind of by the executive cabinet to have just a set time that they can meet each week to make sure they're getting things done. So it was proposed Thursday after 6 on this campus that we love. If you have any questions, please direct them to President Ludwig.
Are there any questions of intent for Senator Becker? Seeing none, that wraps up our to-do list for the evening. We'll now move into closing comments. If you have a closing comment, please raise your placard. I think Director Claiborne would like to speak.
Yeah, so again, if you, next few weeks, as we kind of do the P&C review, if you are welcome or if you want to come to Finance Committee, we're welcome. Obviously, it's a public meeting. We meet at 5:30 on Tuesdays in room 3512 of the Memorial Union. 2 more announcements. Update on my bathroom. It's currently not open, so I know that's kind of sad. I was expecting it to be open on Monday, but it's not. But I think it should be open soon. Currently, it's up. The door is up, but not in the hinges and doesn't have a door handle. So there's physically something there. They also have to do the floor and a fixture, so I'm just really waiting on that. But again, it's coming soon. Don't know what we're going to do with it. If it's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony, that'd be kind of fun. But keep your ears open for that. And then as we go into next semester, if you are looking to reserve rooms for the whole semester, please contact me. I am technically the only one who can because I'm the only one who has a PG number. So if you have previously reserved rooms in the past using my PG number, please go through me because, again, I'm the one who's charged, not you. So I will also revamp the room reservation form so it's kind of easier. I will just do what the event management form looks like, so it's just clean and precise for me to transfer that information to that. Also, again, if you need AV Tech, let me know. Also dates too. Dates are important. So if it's a repeating meeting, just let me know, and then I can just file those dates accordingly. But other than that, we've been pretty good with that. Again, please go to the town hall next week on Tuesday in the Cardinal Room. There will be food, and it will be a great discussion. So thank you.
Senator Mays.
I just wanted to invite you guys. So I'm in Communication Studies Club, and I wanted to invite you guys to a workshop. It is the same night as the town hall, and I don't want anybody to miss the town hall. But I think it starts at 5:30, so if you wanted to stop by, I'm going to be sending a graphic in the group chat, but we're doing a workshop on LinkedIn. So if anybody wants to get more connections on LinkedIn or wants to refine their LinkedIn, I'm going to be sending that graphic, and it's open to anybody. Oh, yeah, and I can give it to Jamie, too.
Are you done with your announcement? No, finish your announcement.
Oh, no, that was it. I was just confused. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to send it in the group chat, so.
Director Haas.
I just wanted to remind you all about karaoke on Friday, so please come and help out. Thank you.
What time was the town hall? At 6. There we go. All right, Senator DePete.
Speaker Bruick, I don't know if you talked about it, but could you elaborate on the mentorship? On the mentorship groups.
Yeah, I'll be doing that in my closing announcement.
Okay, yeah.
No one
Thanks.
else is doing, I think, is my turn, but.
Yeah, if there are no more closing announcements, Vice Speaker Bruick, take us away.
Yep, so that was number one on my list. So everyone should have gotten the email. So everyone should have saw their pairings for the Student Government Mentorship Program. So just a little bit of explanation on what this is. I've alluded to it a couple of times, but now it's actually happening. So here's how it works. I've gotten together and talked to I think it was 12 people who have experience in student government. Those are the bold names at the top of those tables there. And those are all your mentors. So you've everyone in Senate, everyone in Cabinet, and everyone in the Supreme Court has been assigned to one of those 12 mentors. What's going to happen with that is those mentors are going to reach out to you. It's on them to reach out to you, and they're going to set up a time for you guys to all meet together and do something together. So the Senate Mentorship Program, historically it's just been a Senate Mentorship Program we have, and it's been senior senators and junior senators getting together and going and doing, fun things, and, maybe throwing a little bit about how Senate works and how interesting Senate is in there. This year we've expanded that program. It's including everyone that's in one of the three main bodies of the three branches of student government. And you guys are just going to get together and do something fun. It's up to your mentor what that is and when that is and how that is. I've just set up the pairings. So those are your groups. Those are the people you should be looking out for, like an email or a text or what have you from, and they'll be setting something up with you before the end of this year and into next semester as well. So that's what that is. Does that answer anything you want about? Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. It's just something it's usually historically been about once a month. With the end of this semester coming, it's not going to be quite that. But going forward, the plan would be to have it be about once a month. You get together and have an event with that mentor of yours. So keep an eye out for that if you're one of the mentees, and if you're a mentor, obviously I've talked to you. Set up with your mentees something fun to do. So that's the mentorship program. And if you have any other questions, ask me, ask your mentor, just anything you might wonder about or be confused about. I'm more than happy to help you with. The other part of mentorship is the working sessions. We had our first working session that I hosted at 5 o'clock today before this meeting, covering the governing documents. It went pretty well. We didn't have massive turnout, but I think the people we had enjoyed it. It was valuable. I was very happy to get it going. So next week we will be doing that again, 5 p.m. here in the Campanile room. I'll be presenting on Robert's Rules. So if you see all the fun motions on the back of your placard and all the fun words that people shout at random times throughout the meeting to make things go, we're going to be covering what that is, why that is, and what's going on in Senate meetings. It's a thing I'm personally very passionate about. If you know me, I'm a very nerdy dweeb when it comes to Robert's Rules of Order, and I love explaining them and talking about them. So it should be a good time. Come learn about voting thresholds and motions and whatnot and seconds. It's a good time. So I'll be doing that next week as the second part of 3 working sessions for these last 3 meetings of the year, covering important things for student government. With that, I yield to Speaker Mahoney.
All right, so as you talked about the working session, because it's been scheduled more than 24 hours in advance, I'm talking about it right now, and I sent the email out, or more than a week in advance, it is required. So next week, 5 o'clock, everyone will be here for the working session. If you won't be able to be there for reasons, same as the Senate, just email me. We'll be able to excuse you from it if it's a valid excuse. Otherwise, please be here. It's important. We're going to help try to get everyone up to speed more on how Senate works and how some of the more complicated motions work, especially with next semester when we start seeing some of our really complicated bills that really do get deep into some of the irritating motions of Robert's Rules. So yeah, I just sent that email out. It should be in your inbox as well. As I think President Ludwig said earlier, please do the SciThanks. It's really a cool program that happens on campus. If there's anybody that's impacted your time here, whether it be a member of student government, a professor, a friend, an RA, doesn't really matter. You can put their name out there anonymously or not. And I personally received 1 or 2 in the past, and it just feels really good to kind of get thanks for just kind of doing our duties and doing our jobs. So please participate in that. It's awesome. As Sophie alluded to as well, we do have 2 meetings left. One next week and one after the week immediately after Thanksgiving break. We will have, I believe, 1 or 2 major pieces of legislation coming through before the end of the break. If there is anything you're trying to get done that will require a bill and you want it done before winter break, please get it in next week if it needs new business. Otherwise, if you need help with that, please reach out to me, Vice Speaker Bruick. We've written a lot of bills. We know how to write them. A couple other things. Over winter break, we are going to be moving to OneDrive. We're moving away from Google Drive. I prefer Google Drive myself, don't get me wrong, but they're limiting how much storage we have on drives, and we're basically being forced, and it was going to be a thing that happens anyways, but now it's for sure happening. So over winter break, we're going to be moving everything to Google Drive, or OneDrive. It'll be cleaner. We'll all be able to edit things more. Last thing is I'm meeting with Director of Health. I'm meeting with Brian Vanderhayden and Aaron Baldwin tomorrow, along with Student Wellness. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. With Director Everest, and we're going to talk about both the Mental Health Committee as well as becoming a health promoting campus. So hoping to push some of that and hopefully get a Mental Health Committee going. So if anybody would be interested in maybe being a part of that, being part of that discussion, want to know more about the process, have any input on it, please feel free to reach out to me. With that, move to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones. This meeting is adjourned.
All right, let me grab.